Alright, thanks for jumping back on. Got another video for you guys today. I'm going to be covering some of the turtles that I got. Kind of back in December, I went on a trip down to South Florida and kind of ended up picking up some turtles and never really got a chance to make a video kind of showing those turtles. Kind of a lot's happened between now and then, especially with the Thailand trip and everything. But now that I'm at home under quarantine, I've got nothing but time. I can sit here and make all kinds of videos. So let's look at some of my new baby turtles that I got back in December. So one of my favorites is this guy. This is a little Florida softshell turtle. I love these guys. They're just some of the best little turtles. They do get to be really big, and you know, one of the reasons I keep them is because I do build ponds, and to do these guys justice, you really do need a pond. But while they're babies, I mean, you can do them in an aquarium, you can do them in a small tub. They do really well. And you know, captive bred baby Florida softshells are just some of the coolest little turtles, and I like to call them the poor man's Fly River turtle because just to watch them swim is so awesome. So that's my baby Florida softshell. All right, two other ones that I got right around the same time as the baby Florida softshell was. I got this little baby Florida redbelly and a northern redbelly. My buddy Kevin got me these, and it's just so cool to have one of both. You can really see some of the similarities. You can also see some of the differences between them. They're so similar. The Florida redbelly also kind of having more of a dome shell, whereas the northerns are a little bit flatter. But they do have some pattern differences and a little bit different color in the actual red belly part of the turtles. So that's pretty neat. I really like these guys. They're some of the best pet turtles you can have. They have great personalities, especially as they get older. And they're just some of my favorites. And they're just stinking cute. And one of the nice things with these guys too is they can be housed communally. Actually keep these two and the young Florida softshell and this guy. This is a river cooter that I found in my pond at the end of fall last year. You can keep these guys all in a community tank. Cooters get along really well. You don't really have issues with aggression or anybody kind of roughing each other up the way you do with some of the sliders and some of the other turtles. And then having the soft shell in there and a couple musks, they all just kind of get along and have their own areas, which is nice. So I keep these guys right now. Going through winter, I had them in a stock tank in the garage, a 150-gallon stock tank with 2 pumps and 2 filters running. And it's pretty clear, and they do really well in it, but it's about time to move them outside. But yeah, so that's 3 different cooters. All right, now these are 2 Loggerhead Musk turtles I hatched out last year, and they live in that communal 150-gallon stock tank, and they do really well in there. And these guys kind of run along the bottom. They eat uneaten food. I also toss in there some dried shrimp, snails, all that stuff, and they'll run around and they'll eat all of that. And they're just kind of the cleanup crew for the whole stock tank, and they just do really well in there. And again, just like all my other turtles, they're at the size now where they can be moved outside. So I'm going to be building some habitats, so we'll have some videos on that, kind of doing some habitat builds for some of these smaller, younger turtles, and I'll show you guys how I set those up in a later video. Alright, and I call this one a baby turtle, but it's actually way bigger than a baby turtle, and this is a Hyosemis grandis. And a buddy gave me this while I was on a trip down to Florida. I told him how much I love him, and he was just like, hey, I have one, you want one? And handed it to me, and I was like, thank you. So I got to see these while I was in Thailand. There's actually a recent video of a house with 1,000 turtles, and the guy had a whole bunch of these, and I got to see how big they actually get. They get enormous. But this is a turtle that can eat on land or in the water. They can live on land or in the water. So my long-term plan with this turtle is it's going to join the elongated tortoise and the mountain tortoise, and that's just going to be an Asian turtle setup back there. So I'm going to expand the water area for this one to be able to go in and out of the water back in that enclosure, back there where the bamboo is. So it'll be really natural. But look at the pattern on the bottom. I mean, that is just, the pattern on the bottom of these guys is just awesome. Reminds me of the leaf turtles, which they're actually related to. So another interesting turtle I got on that trip back in December was this hybrid alligator and common snapping turtle. And it's really cool because I'm not a big fan of hybrids. I am a big fan of snapping turtles. And so just the idea of those two crossing has always kind of fascinated me. I always thought it would be interesting to raise one up and kind of see the different traits that come out from both species. And a buddy of mine was just like, here, like handed me one to raise up, and it was really cool, especially after getting to see Fred Grunwald's setup and how he has a bunch of them, and the way that his look and how he raises them up and everything. It's really cool. They're fascinating animals as one-offs. I don't necessarily think people should breed for it, but that's just my personal opinion. But it is interesting that they occur, and that there's something that can kind of happen between those two different turtles. He's an interesting looking little guy. At first, you know, when you first look at him, he looks a lot like a Florida snapper. Then you start to see that alligator snapping turtle snout. You start to see a little bit of difference in the shell. You can see he's got the same little kind of plastron as a Florida snapper or a common snapper does. And then flip him around and he's got a shell. The carapace is very similar to that of like a young alligator snapper. And he's just got like a cool looking pointy snout. Just a really interesting turtle, and it's going to be fun to watch this guy grow up. So I'll do plenty of videos over time as he gets bigger, and showing how he develops. And now these two are my most recent ones, and by most recent I mean like the other day. I actually got back from Thailand, was like exploring out in the yard, and I looked in the alligator snapping turtle pond that I'm building, which is full of water and actually draining right now. But I looked out there, and it was a little bit sunny, and I looked on a log and I saw a tiny turtle basking. Looked a little closer. Turns out there's two hatchling eastern painted turtles in there. They came from my adult female. She had nested a couple times last year, and I guess these babies overwintered in the nest, and they made it out to the alligator snapping turtle pond. So it was a good catch. I was glad that I caught these and saw them in there, and they're just like the neatest little small turtles. Painted turtles are some of the best pet turtles you can have. I always recommend them to anybody starting off with turtles. They're way better than a red-eared slider. They stay small, they have a great personality, easy to take care of. So really happy to have a couple baby eastern painted turtles hanging around. Alright, so those are some of my newer baby turtles that I got recently. It's going to be fun to watch all these guys grow up alongside all the other turtles that I have, kind of see them get older, the changes they go through, and you know, through making videos and kind of documenting all this, I think we'll all be able to see them grow older and what it's like to raise turtles. So thanks for watching these videos. Please remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos are uploaded. I upload videos at least once a week. So I'll see you guys on the next one, and thanks for watching.